Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is King Kevin Show. We live in the building right now, June 18th. Thank God. I hope all are doing well, doing great. You're enjoying yourselves. We're going to talk about a whole lot of things tonight about the confusing and ratchet image of women on TV, with the emphasis on black women, but we're going to get into that. So let me make sure I turn down my other TV computer screen here. Now I know that I can hear myself. So I know you guys can hear me. You can feel my vibrations on the air. How y'all doing out there, internet world? It's the King Kevin Show again. Last week was about the price of beauty, and definitely good response for everyone out there. And you definitely check out the YouTube video. Oh, it didn't get on YouTube for some reason, but you can watch it on my Ustream channel. But let you all know what's going on with me. Of course, I got to go through my notes. Today's topic, as I mentioned, is going to rub some people the wrong way. It's going to catch some attention. It is what it is. I love doing my show. And my show is your show. Mi casa, su casa. So I got a gold sponsor, which is a very good and great thing. I'm very happy about that. Gold sponsor is $1,000, by the way, so that's not, some chump change. So the sponsor, D&E Tires up in Pompano. God bless, the whole staff and the boss lady over there and her husband. God bless y'all. I thank you all for your support and your encouragement. And that's for my documentary, The Courage to Believe. You can find out more information, of course. Go to my website, thecouragetobelieve.com. Or you can see the link at the bottom of the show here, the video. And also, I'd like to mention that I'm wearing right now my shirt I got from Jacksonville. This is the Jacksonville shirt. When I was at the Black on Black Crown Conference, I wore that today finally for the first time. So show love, all my Jacksonville supporters out there. God bless you, love you, appreciate your support, and I had a great time. Now we're gonna talk about a couple of shows. Let me first of all start off with a prayer. You already know how I get down when it comes to the prayers and the show. So to be a blessing to all of y'all, because some of y'all probably ain't pray all day, but it's all good. I'm not your judge or your jury. I just believe that being able to pray is a powerful thing, and it helps us focus and be wiser. You know what I mean? If you want wisdom, you have to go ahead and seek. Go get wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Wisdom's just not gonna fall out the sky. You have to pray for that. So anyway, let's get to it. God's great, God's good. Thank you for everything and all things. Bless your holy name. Thank you for blessing us with the opportunity to be here today on the King Kevin Show. And I pray that everyone is well and all is good. And may the blessings of the Lord make us all rich and have no sorrow. Amen. All right. Now I don't bless the show. We're gonna get down to it and make sure that all is well. So I think I sent all my 5916. I think I sent all my text messages out, so we should be in good standings with that. Bear with me, world. 5916. Yep, that's the number. Watch live. That I do now. Hey, tune in now. Now, Married to Medicine, Loving Hip Hop Atlanta, Loving Hip Hop New York, Basketball Wives. What did I forget? There's a couple other shows out there. You're not gonna let me forget. What show am I forgetting? And by the way, you guys can call in the show at 305 600 5916. That's 305 600 5916. For those of you who don't know the number, just making sure that I cover everyone that wanted to tune in today. And all right, so those are shows. Mary Jane, Scandal. How can I forget Scandal? Now, all these different television shows, they're projecting black women as these negative, angry, conniving, gold digging, impatient, wow, type of women. Definitely far from what God had created women for and created men as well for. Women have a very powerful role in society, especially today. A lot of my sisters, man, they balling out here, man. They go on vacation where they want. They go ahead and get hair done, all the weed they want. All the restaurants they want to eat at. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And so I figured that, okay, since women have so much power these days, and men seem to be, power seems to be disappearing from the men. A lot of men are incarcerated in prison, frustrated, broke, unemployed. Uh, I don't know. It's like, you have to ask yourself, it seems as if you have the women, increasing, and as the women are increasing, the men are decreasing, which is the whole point of the show, because I'm about to break it down for you guys what's really going on. I happened to watch an awesome video today. You remember that woman that used to play in Living Single? Her name is Erica Alexander. Maxine. Remember Maxine, the sexy black woman with the little, well, I guess you could say dreads in her head. But, she said some powerful things on a video that I was watching today. And, how Hollywood is portraying all these black women, with all these other negative things that is, going on right now on television. Like, black women has a huge market in the entertainment world because it looks like a circus. It looks like a clown. It's not something, unfortunately, it's not something that I would say to be proud of, because, yeah, you're making a few dollars, but at what cost? And then you go into the role models of these women. I mean, who are they being role models for? You know what I mean? Like, who are they inspiring with this sort of behavior? I mean, every time I turn it on, there's some kind of fight. And I could be watching the show for like 5-10 minutes. I'm not even a big fan of the show. Not that I'm hating, I'm just not of any of these shows. Mayor Jane was very interesting for many reasons, and it inspired me to even talk about a particular subject, which revolves around women that are come from somewhat of a very interesting background. Mayor Jane, from what I remember, a young, successful black woman that is doing her thing, very successful, very ambitious, families, one brother's on drugs, got a baby mama, the mother and father together, they definitely pulling it off somehow, some way. But that's what's, what I'm saying, that's what's going on. And when I watched the show, and I realized that one of the scenes, her uncle was squeezing her booty in the show. Like, I'm not talking about, a little pat on the butt, what I'm saying? You're playing sports, you pat somebody in the butt. I have never done that. I've never been a fan of that, just to be real. You know what I'm saying? But amongst men anyway, not that I touch butts of women, but when the guy was squeezing the what's her name? Gabrielle Union's butt, it showed that she must have been molested as a child by this uncle. So it shows you this dynamic family structure, and she somehow is able to pull herself together enough to have a career. But then you have her masturbating at her desk with some sort of dildo or whatever, and before she goes on a date. So I'm asking myself, like, why is this woman, why is she doing that? And my girlfriend, or my friend at the time who I was watching it, she told me that they do that because they, just so they don't have any sexual urges before the date, women masturbate. I've never heard of that before. So women, please share with me your knowledge on that pre-masturbation date thing. I've never heard of that. I was completely blown away by that. They're like, why would she do that? She's going on a date. So, and then you go on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. You have the one woman, what's her name, Nene or I don't remember these women's names. You guys know who I'm talking about. She has this video of pornography that's going out. Now I understand the DVD was already out there, it's already going out in public, so she had to somewhat capitalize on the situation. That's how she looked at it. Look, all right, the DVD's already going to be out. It's already going to be sold. People are already going to buy it. This porn company contacted her. Look, we're going to offer you this deal to give us the rights to the film, and we'll break you off such amount of money. She probably got paid $50,000, $60,000, $75,000. I don't know, but probably more than that. You know what I'm saying? But I always seen her as, other than messing with that guy Steve, which represented, the black, a lot of black males, slang diggling to as many females as possible, use as many women as possible, abuse as many black women as possible, and be seen as a pimp, as a Don Juan. So you have a very interesting situation there. And then these two have a daughter. Now the daughter's going to be watching these shows. Whether she's watching them now, watching them in the future, who knows. And you have millions of young women, white, black, red, blue, whatever, watching these shows. This is their example. This is their samples of how they should carry themselves out in public whenever they come through some sort of situation. Hey, let's go fight it out. Let's go make a sex tape together. You got Kanye West, Kim Kardashian. They got married, you know what I'm saying? But Kim, she had a sex tape as well. But back to the subject, and you have these other relationships going on in the show. You have the marriage with Candace and, her dude or whatever, and then you got the moms fighting, but that really goes on. You have different, families who get married. Well, first of all, whenever you join in two different worlds together and trying to get them to be on the same page, same accord, you got two different psychologies, two different family backgrounds, two different everything. You're going to have some kind of conflict. You're going to have some issues. And that's what, happened. They fight before the wedding. So I don't know. I really want to know what America feels, what the world feels. I know I got people in Japan and Germany. Y'all been sending me messages, buying my books, and watching my videos on YouTube. Call in. Number again is 305-600-5916. That's 305-600-5916. I really would love to hear your opinion on why this is going on. As a matter of fact, why is Hollywood perpetuating this? Why are they always showing women as contrived, contentious, combative attitudes? Why not something like back in the day, like Bill Cosby show? You know what I mean? The different worlds. Even Good Times. Even though the Good Times, a lot of times it was some bad times, but there are a lot of good things going on in Good Times. A lot of positive things about, families sticking together. And one of my favorite shows, to be honest with you, which is Family Matters. You know what I'm saying? Because family does matter. So, but you see a huge transition from what they used to show back in the 80s and 90s going on into the 2000s, the new millennium, and it's like there is no family structure. Now, you got to ask yourself. Now I'm thinking about it, and a friend of mine has brought it up to me, and thank you, Rebecca, for all your support, and Jennifer, Slim, good looking out, Gene. So anyway, how many of you know of a show that shows a black family sticking together, being happy, supportive, praying together, eating together? They're no matter what happens, they're there for each other. They're not pulling each other hair out. They're not cussing each other, devising schemes and all kinds of crazy stuff. Like, what's really going on? So I really want, your opinion out there, world. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what's on your mind. I've said a mouthful. And by the way, we definitely gonna give a shout out to the ancestor, Mrs. Maya Angelou, who passed away. She's my Black History celebrity, so I definitely want to give homage to her. So we're gonna talk about her a little later on the show. But please talk to me, people. What's going on in America? I hope I got my Skype running. I hope my Skype is on. I think I paid the bill. Um, I sometimes forget to pay the bill for the Skype. It's like $18. So hopefully it is on. So I think I got somebody coming in. Can you do me a favor? Can you please check and see if that Skype number is running? I'm gonna text. Do you have it? Okay then. So, oh, you say you don't have it? Okay, okay. All right, cool, cool. Yeah, just hope that thing running. Woo, it'll be a shame to have this thing running. But anyway, it will be on before the night's over if it isn't running now. But that's what's going on. And then you have Basketball Wives. That show there was a straight, like, I don't know what to call that. I mean, it was straight bananas, like left and right. And taking place right here in Miami. You know, you got Shaquille wife, you got these other wives or ex-wives, you know, fighting over status. I mean, they all go-getters. Look, women, you all are beautiful. Like, you know what I'm saying? What's going on? We need to boycott these channels. Now, that'll be a challenge. Can we really boycott these channels that is, you know, perpetuating black women as conniving, filthy, dirty, gold diggers? You know what I'm saying? I really hope we can avoid going that route. You know what I mean? So avoid them continuing going that route, because believe it or not, the media, they're marketing these films as black films, black shows, and so they are legally segregating the market. You know what I'm saying? So when you have a black film, just to let you guys know a little bit about the business world of media. I'm an expert, but I have some experience. Actually, I have quite a bit of experience. When they are doing that, okay, I think I got a caller calling in. Okay, so it's running. Amen. Thank you, Jesus. Okay, okay. So I don't answer. All right, boom. So that's what's going on, America. So, all right, let's see. I have a question here. Now, with these racist undertones and the fact that these films are only being marketed to black communities, when the fact is, all of America is watching these shows. It's just not black people watching these shows. White people watch it. You know what I'm saying? People in Japan are watching it. It's literally watching women in a zoo. That's why the ratings are so high. And they're making all this money. But at the price of what? What is this saying to our daughters, our granddaughters, our, you know what I'm saying, our sisters, our mom? What kind of image, how are we influencing them to behave in the future when they are in those situations? I ask that question again because I want someone to actually answer that. Because me personally, I don't have any daughters. I have plenty of sisters. You know, a couple of them do act like buffoons. I ain't gonna lie. But I still love them. I have a couple of, well, one goddaughter, and I have plenty of nieces and nephews. So thank God that, you know, they're all alive. But I have to, you know what I'm saying, be more conscious and mindful. Because what these shows are doing, they are decreasing the level of consciousness. You know, some people laugh when I keep talking about consciousness, but that's like one of the most powerful things. Consciousness is power. Consciousness is influence. It's energy. So when you have a negative energy, negative vibrations, lower level vibrations, you're going to get a lower level of outcomes in your life. That's a fact of life. You cannot skip that. You cannot ignore it. This is something that we must be mindful of, because if we continue letting them control the media, who is, by the way, owned by the government, so I wanted some kind of conspiracy behind that. But we continue to let them do that. These are, like Dr. Amos Wilson said in his book, Black on Black Violence, uh, self-black annihilation in service of white domination. This is going to control how we see ourselves and how we act out in the world, in our world. This is controlling our reality. Yes, it may be TV. It may be scripted. They may have this thing all planned out. They have all these big business deals going on. Nene from Atlanta Housewives, I mean, she's a full-blown actor now, so she's doing her thing. She's moving beyond the television screen to actually, be a full-blown actress, which I'm very proud and happy for her. But then again, I asked the question, at what price? At what price are we willing to pay to have our young sisters, our queens, act as whores on TV? You know what I'm saying? And believe it or not, the words whoremonger and well, I won't say hoes, but whoremonger is definitely in the Bible. So how long will we continue supporting this? And we supporting it by watching it, believe it or not, because that's how they get paid. You know what I'm saying? They get paid by the ratings. So if we're not gonna stand up and be like, look, we want better examples for our sisters, for our young daughters in elementary. Imagine a girl in elementary watching something like this. So next time she gets in front of a confrontation, and what she's gonna do? She's gonna act like a donkey. And Bill Cosby, whenever they had a situation, a conflict, you know what they did? Even in Family Matters. Let's talk about Family Matters. Some of y'all don't probably even remember Bill Cosby show. Family Matters is a little more recent. That used to be my favorite show back in the day. When I was like in the 5th grade, I cannot wait to come home on Fridays and watch TGIF on ABC, because I knew Family Matters was coming on. I didn't know it at the time, but I did have an understanding that I love the frequency. I love the vibrations from that show. Like, I really could not wait to get home. That was my thing on Friday nights, you know what I'm saying? Because my mom had us on lockdown. We couldn't do nothing. But back to what I was saying, when a young girl goes and watch a show like this on, let's say, Family Matters, she watches a show like Family Matters, and she sees how they handle a conflict. They sit down, they talk about it, and once they talk about it, they shake hands or hug, and then be about their business. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to talk out things. These shows are showing you, forget talking, go straight to fighting, go straight to cuss each other out, go straight to get some water or a glass, whatever it is, throw at the person, some shoes. I mean, acting like, you know what I'm saying, there's no kind of home training. So maybe it's not even these women's fault. Maybe it's the fault of their mothers, the fault of their fathers. But it takes a woman to raise a girl into a queen. Well, let me rephrase that. It takes a woman to raise a daughter, but it takes a man to make sure she's a queen, because it's going to be the man who shows her exactly how to act, how to portray herself when dealing around other women and dealing around other men. It takes a man to do it. A king, like a woman said, I forgot her name, but she was actually at the book signing I was at last week. And those of you who missed that book signing, I got a video on YouTube. You check it out of when I got crowned the king, which is pretty cool. But anyway, she's a woman. Her name goes, what's her name? Don't remember her name. But she's on my Instagram. But she said a king attracts queens. You understand? And a queen attracts kings. So if this is what we have on television, then this is what these women, these young girls are going to attract. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I got to say about the situation thus far. I have plenty more to go. Believe me, I do. But for the moment, we're going to go into Mrs. Maya Angelou right quick. And who is my Black History celebrity. Now, you all know every month is Black History Month on the King Kevin Show. You know what I'm saying? There's no ifs, ands, buts about that. Now, Mrs. Maya Angelou, she was born in April 4th, 1948. Isn't that beautiful? She was born in the spring and she died in the spring. And she died May 28th, 2014, just recently. As a matter of fact, I was in Jacksonville, out of town, when I heard that she passed away, which was Unfortunate, but those you know, she was an African American poet. She was an author. She was a dancer, actress, a singer. She published 7 autobiographies. 7. You know, I thought I was gonna write 2 autobiographies. I wrote one already, but she wrote 7. She got 3 books that are filled with essays, which is pretty cool, and several books of poetry. One of her most famous poems she wrote was "Why Did the Bird Sing in a Cage?" Something like that. But I'm gonna look that up because I read that poem a couple of times, and I definitely want to make sure that I give the answers to the props she deserves. But I do know for a fact that she won a very prestigious award called the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is a very rare award. But she won that. You know what I mean? Like she actually accomplished quite a bit in her life. Well, this is the name of the song of the book, the poem, in the 1969 memoir called "I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings," and she also wrote another one, a book of poetry called "Just Give Me a Cool Drink of Water." Now we all know about the phenomenal woman. That poem itself, man, that poem. When a woman wants to recite that poem, and she knows what she's doing, forgive me, but that was a big turn on. You know what I'm saying? Because you actually, you're imagining a woman, you know what I'm saying, talking about, how graceful she is and how powerful and how beautiful. And as a matter of fact, just to give her props, I think I'm gonna go ahead and recite this poem, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think a man should be saying it. But let me say some of it, all right? So let me at least start with the beginning. Pretty woman wonder where my secret lies. I'm cute. I am not cute, or built in suit of fashion model size. But when I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the strand of my steps, the curl of my lips. I'm a woman, phenomenally phenomenal woman. That's me. Wow. Now to me, that is something very powerful. I got a caller here, and I hope we can hear her. But yes, Carly, calling the King Kevin Show. I hope you can hear me. So you got a question or comment? Yes, yes. I can't hear you. Do me a favor and call back the show in about 10 seconds, okay? Call the show back in 10 seconds if you can hear me, because I'm going to send you a message. I'm not sure if you can hear me. Call back in 5 minutes, please. Call back in 5 minutes. All right. We had a call. I'm going to hang up on and start the Skype again. The Skype, for some reason, is not taking in the call. Maybe it worked this time. Phenomenal woman. Oh, no wonder why. I forgot to do this part. Oh, forgive me. No wonder, no wonder. But yeah, that's the thing. You guys, again, the number to call is 305 600 5916. And I'm going to do a quick setting right quick. Something I slipped my mind to hook up. But forgive me. And this should be blessing. Hope you guys can hear her. Beck, can you hear it? Maya Angelou. That was Maya Angelou's poem. I'm not sure if you guys were able to hear that, but the caller from the 614 area code, 614-558, go ahead, give me a call back, and all is well. All is good. So that's Mrs. Maya Angelou. I mean, she done so many things Wow, we definitely lost a legacy. Well, a legacy shall live on forever. No, we definitely lost a celebrity, but the legacy will live on forever and always. What's that again? Yeah, yeah, I'm definitely still online. So we're gonna get back in the action of the show. Now, I read this blog, and this woman, she wrote on the blog. You can find it. She talks about Kerry Washington for brown girls suicide. Now there was this woman, that young woman. She had this blog for brown girls, and for some reason, she committed suicide. Now, she had a powerful blog where she inspired, tons of people. Her blog, from my understanding, got a lot of traffic. But she killed herself, a couple of months back. And this is what I, read. Since when is a woman's value based on the shape of her backside or breast? We have been psychologically induced to think that it's okay to call our women the B word. I'll keep it clean from my, you know. Anyway, and to only view them as sexual objects. Each time we call our women a female dog, we are diminishing her value. So therefore, diminishing our own value as men and women, since we all come from a woman. Sarah Bolton is a perfect example of how black women was degraded to the point where her beauty was turned into tragedy. Now this woman, for brown girls, was a very inspirational. You know what I'm saying? Like, she reached out to females that wasn't comfortable for some reason with their skin color. Might have been having some kind of psychological issues, whatever. So they probably seek help online or whatever. But that's what this young woman used to do. So what I want to ask you guys, and the young lady name was Karen. Why suicide can no longer be a dirty word? All right, we have a caller from 407. Let's see what's going on. Yes, yes. Number 407. What's your name? Where you calling from? Talk to me. From 407. Tell her call back. Okay, now Carrie was having a rough time dealing with the death of her mother. The main thing she decided to do was to make a video about her mother. Her mission was to refocus people on the beauty of their life and the foundation to make sure that we can maintain the dignity of our own legacy. And in the midst of Karen's mother failing death, she reached out to the editor of Style and Beauty, editor Ty Alexander, who had actually just gone through the same tragic ordeal, losing a mother through cancer. Ty and Karen shared several email exchanges. Often, Ty offered Karen advice on how to deal with losing her mother and things she could do that would keep her sane. The exchange between the two was haunting. As Ty admitted, Karen said that she had found a way to meet up in Baltimore that dealt with coping during the holidays, and she was also going to church. Looking back, she asked if she could have someone to talk to. Evidently, Karen did not find someone to talk to, which is often what happens to a lot of people who decide their only option is death. The importance of having a support system is something that should never be underestimated. We are not islands. We need each other. The beauty of Karen was that she was a good person. She loved people. And she reached out to tons of women through her website. But for some reason, she was not able to cope with that situation. But to be honest with you, it had to be something bigger than that. Because anybody who lost a mother, because I lost my mother, and I know the feeling, you know what I'm saying? And truth be told, I didn't cry at my mom's funeral. And, I didn't. I cried before, and I cried after, but I did not, I wasn't there for that. I feel as if I had to be stronger for my siblings and family members. So for her to have taken her life, she didn't have a role model or someone that she can speak to on that level. Now, whether or not the television, the reality TV shows had anything to do with it, that she felt as if, okay, let's just do whatever comes to mind, That's what these reality shows, do. Whatever comes to mind, go ahead and do it. And that's not the way to tap into your higher level of consciousness. You have to be able to think bigger than, what's currently going on. You have to see beyond that situation. She cannot see beyond the situation, which is the whole sad thing about the case, because evidently she's not here with us today. Now, could have something be done about it? Of course. But the fact that also, all the positive things she was doing, it was not enough. So how do we get our women to reach a higher level of consciousness, being more aware of their surroundings and being prepared for things such as losing a loved one or dealing with another female, whether it's a workplace, neighbor, amongst friends? How do you deal with situations without fighting each other, without physically abusing or verbally abusing each other? Because that saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, that is definitely not the case. Because sticks and stones definitely do hurt. And so it's mind-blogging what's going on in the world, and not to be able to cope with your situations in a positive manner, because you do have an option. I posted on Facebook yesterday and also Instagram that there's never a bad lesson in life. All lessons have value. They are valuable. And it's only the way we deal with it which makes it a negative experience, because even though it may have been something bad that we don't want to deal with, that we weren't comfortable with, it has some sort of importance. It's supposed to take us somewhere to another level or dimension in life. Some of us get stuck in the past, which is what is not, that's not what life's about, getting stuck in the past. You know what I'm saying? We all live and we all learn. So that's what I want to say about it. I wish someone would check in so I could stop talking so much, because I don't want to lose my voice. And by the way, it's been a crazy day, but I'm not going to complain, because I just found out somebody had passed away today. So I'm going to, keep my comments about the day to myself, which is all good. Okay, so destination support. I'm trying to send a message, but I can't even send a message. So anyway, let's get back to the next topic at hand here. Elijah Muhammad, from the Nation of Islam, once said, "The nature of a woman is to equal herself up to God. A woman will strive to always be better, but it's tough when the man she is with isn't up to par. There isn't a such thing as a no good woman. Women that are labeled as no good came from a no good man." So that was pretty deep for the elder to say that, because wow, no good woman is because there's a no good man. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. Call in. And like Mr. What's his name? Ben, Dr. Ben. Let's call him Dr. Ben. That's what they call him, but he actually has a last name. Jacobon, he's an African historian. Dr. Chris Welsing. They said you can tell a lot about a country by how they treat a woman. You can tell the prosperity of a country by how you treat a woman. Now, in ancient civilization, women were put on a high pedestal. Women were put and highly revered, highly respected. You know what I'm saying? Because of the female creative force. You know what I'm saying? Being able to give birth, being able to inspire, to uplift, and encourage. And I've said this a couple of times. The wings of Isis. She takes, you know what I'm saying, her wings, and she fertilizes. She blows and encourages her man with her wings. Like, she blows the wind, words of inspiration. She speaks life over Asar. Now, that was the role of a woman to encourage a man. But how could, with this confusion image that we have here today, how can a woman encourage her man if she's acting like a buffoon? She can't encourage herself. And maybe these shows, all it does is inspire women to push them to be about themselves, to only think about themselves, which should never be the case in any situation, because it's not about us, it's about the other person. And whenever you're in a relationship, it should always be about supporting the individual. It should always be about encouraging the individual. You know what I'm saying? Not me, I, because I guess that's what's going on. Because if that wasn't the case, then I think that these women would be more conscious about their behavior and what kind of repercussions it's going to have on the future. So I'm very worried about the future of our young women. Now, the callers from the 407 area code and the 614 and the 615 area code, please call back. I know the 407, that's Orlando, so I must got somebody in Orlando showing me love, which is always appreciated. So call back so we can get this thing going. I gotta have at least one woman. I know at least one woman out here cares about what's going on with our sisters. So I'm gonna sit here and wait for you to hit us back up. I forgot to text someone, but here we go. And let's have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I want to say. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity and to speak. But by the way, the Sphinx in Egypt, those of you who don't know what the Sphinx is, it's that lion head out in the desert in front of the pyramids. I believe it's in front of the Pyramid of Giza. But we always thought that that lion head was a male lion. Believe it or not, it was a female lion. You know, with the body of a human and with the head of a lioness. And that's, you know what I'm saying? So Western civilization has taught us to think about everything being masculine. And I think there's just too much masculine energy in these females, which is almost impossible. But anyway, call it 646. Talk to me. Yes. Can you hear me? Yes, I'm here. What? Yes. Turn down your computer and go ahead and talk. Yes. And what's your name? Where you calling from? Hey, Miss Brown, what's going on? Okay, but let me correct you what he said before you do that. He said that for a man to say there's no good woman, it's because he's a no good man. But go ahead. You. Mhm. Okay. Good seeds, bad seeds. That's true. But don't you think a woman or man, but since you're talking about women or queens, don't you think that they would have had learned that kind of behavior? That's true. That's true. All right. Well, I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thanks for. Appreciate it. Oh yeah, and by the way, you guys, Miss Brownie, she's gonna be on the show next week. So tune in and check that out. And you be blessed. You're welcome. Yes, Mrs. Brownie was saying that there's good seeds and bad seeds, and that some people just have bad intentions, and it's not about. She completely disagreed about that comment with Elijah Muhammad said that you know for a man to call a woman no good is because there's no good man. You know what I'm saying? So I respect her opinion. So and it's all good. So and the other caller was number 47, but it's all good. Can't get you to call back in. I have no idea who that person was, but I think that's Orlando, if I'm not mistaken. So shout out to my people up in Orlando. I hope my cousin get out of jail real soon. So but yeah, so we definitely got a few things to talk about, a few things that we had discussed on the show, and I appreciate it. But we got to figure out a way to not have ourselves marginalized or segregated by these TV shows because it is affecting us. I mean, big time. And you know what I'm saying? We need better examples. Bottom line, you know what I'm saying? I'm not expecting everyone to dress up like Mrs. Huxtable from the Cosby Show, but we definitely need better examples. We definitely need to have a woman, women of dignity, in high positions, showing how things should be done, could be done, and will be done. But that's not going to happen if we continue having these shows showing women how to act like buffoons, which is also showing men acting like buffoons as well. There could definitely be better examples of that. Maybe I should write a show. What do you guys think? Maybe I should come up with a script so that we can have better examples on television because television gives off frequencies. You know what I'm saying? There's different symbols all the time being projected from the screen. So our brains are being manipulated. And this is not some kind of conspiracy theory. There have been research and grants, that the government subsidized to make sure that we are brainwashed to a degree, that we are manipulated to a degree. In 1947, Sigmund Freud opened up a institute called the Tavistock Institute up there in Europe, and it was subsidized by the U.S. government and probably several other governments. But they paid him and his nephew to learn how to manipulate the masses. So you think they paid them that just to do it? No. Of course they're using that. You're using it, through the television, through the radio. You know what I'm saying? Different sounds, affecting our ears and how we act and think. We may not think that that's happening, but that's what's going on. That's why it's a good thing to turn the TV off. Pick up a book. Read something positive. You know what I mean? So that's my solution to the situation. And I'd love to hear more solutions. And I wish that I had some more time to dig a little deeper into what I wanted to say. But the show's going to end in 10 minutes. You know what I mean? And I'm always thankful for people who tune in because I know you got things to do. You got people to go see. You know what I'm saying? You got stuff to cook. Project to work on, what you should be working on. I'm working on this project. And the reason why I do the King Kevin show, at this point, it's no longer, what I'm saying, about me. I definitely love the fact that so many of you all tune in and you comment here and there. But what's more important to me is to share knowledge and information and to allow people to network and to talk and to discuss things, because that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? Sharing that knowledge and being empowered to prosper. That's what it's about, sharing that knowledge. That's why I read books. That's why I'm writing books and movies. Talking about this right here. I'm not perfect, but I do understand that there is a difference between right and wrong. There's a difference between a higher level of consciousness and a lower level of consciousness. And I definitely don't want to be someone that's, living in a lower level of consciousness because I know there is more to life. There's more than that to me. There's more than that to you, women, ladies of the world, my queens. And don't forget, check out my book that's coming out. Go to my website, KevinDorival.com, because I have the book coming out, Seven Types of Queens That Kings Desire. And so, I should have said at the beginning of the show, but that's why I'm working on these things so I can uplift and increase your consciousness. Now, I may not be going deep like Brother Malcolm and Martin Luther King and Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman as far as causing a whole revolution, but I will cause a revolution of the mind. You know, to be in America and to be in the 21st century with all the wisdom and knowledge at your fingertips, literally. You know what I'm saying? We have to will ourselves to be dumb. We have to will ourselves to be ignorant. We have to put that energy to be that when we can use that energy into something more positive. So all the ladies on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Hip Hop New York, what is it? Medicine, something, whatever that show was called, Basketball Wives, and all that good stuff. And also what is it? Housewives of Beverly Hills, all that. I hope you women think about what you're doing for the money. You know what I'm saying? Because even back in the day, the slave masters, what they did was they actually, they used the man to control the women, and they did that by hanging, lashing, beating them to death, and from the women and children, and so that the women would get the children in line, so that the slave master, when he goes to go grab that little girl or female teenager, whatever the case may be, the mom told her to be quiet. You know what I'm saying? Let him take your body. Let him do what he wants to do with you, but don't let him take your spirit. Your body, your spirit is in your body, so your body and your spirit is being violated, and your mind. And it also taught the men, the women, the mothers taught the boys, don't fight back. Just sit there. Don't fight the master because he's going to kill you. I don't want you to leave us and go shipped off to another plantation. So now we're in the 21st century. It's like the masters, our mothers are telling us to be quiet again. Let the master, let the slave master, the media, the government continue to, violate us mentally, physically, spiritually, financially as well, and let's not do anything about it. So history does have a very interesting way of repeating itself, and it's repeating itself right now. Right now, you're 2014. So that's my bit. That's what I want to say about the situation. And I really don't have anything else to say, but we can continue this. We got 6 more minutes. I like to um, keep the show going up until an hour, and so I guess we're gonna keep doing that, until 5 more minutes. So what else I got going on? What I want to tell you, I think that's about it. Ladies and gentlemen. Guess I just be rambling on and on. I mean, I can ask some questions about what I got going on in my life and all that good stuff. But next week we're gonna do a show on church, all churched out. People who are pretty much giving up on church, giving up, hopefully not praying, but definitely giving up going to a church to seek spiritual guidance. So I'm gonna have Mrs. Mary Brown on the show. I'm gonna feature her on there. It's gonna be fabulous. We're gonna have fun. And again, it's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And check me out. Again, shout out to DE Tires, my sponsors for the Courage to Believe documentary. You can find out more information about that and my other sponsors. And if you want to sponsor or donate, go to thecouragetobelieve.com. That's THE Courage TO Believe.com. Follow me on Instagram. That's Courage number 2 Believe. That's BELIEVE. By this point, you guys better know how to spell believe. Not because that word is in my book, but you better believe in something. Matter of fact, we live and in person in the Believe Room right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another great episode of the King Kevin Show. God bless y'all. I wish you the best, and be productive. All right, blessings.